After spending the last couple of days slumbering, interacting with sex slaves and overseeing my peasants in V Rising, I thought to myself, all right, it's time. My viewers need me. So I decided to make this video covering all of the best, most broken, insane, busted, crazy, sexiest, most addiction-inducing Diablo 4 builds possible for Season 4, so you know exactly what to play in the new season. I scoured the entire internet, delving into its deepest, darkest corners and checking out all of the best Diablo 4 creators out there just to unearth these top 10 builds. I'll of course provide you with links to all of these in the description, and if possible also a Mobalytics planner, which is also where you'll be finding all of my Season 4 builds from now on, along with highly detailed explanation of my builds. And why Mobalytics, Mr. Big Dick Para Senpai? Well, it's obviously because it's superior to every other option. Oh shit. Oh damn, oh no. Oh shit, oh shit. You guys are alright too, guys, send help.
I have a very big testicles.
Okay. We'll start with everyone's favorite, the most brain-dead of them all, the Barb. And I'll start with what I consider to be the best build for Barbs, the Bash build. Wait, what, Bash? Isn't that skill absolute dog shit? Hell no. With Blizz introducing the new tempering manuals for cleave damage, Bash is now an absolute beast. This build already dealt substantial damage due to the high base damage of Bash, but since it was only hitting one target at a time, it sucked ass. And by cleaving enemies as well as slapping on thousands of additive damage, you'll see why it turned out so goddamn good. Now there's two main ways to play this build, and it comes down to preference. First, we have the gameplay right here, where you're rocking Wrath of the Berserker along with a bunch of shouts and kick. The shouts are a no-brainer, but what about the Wrath of the Berserker? Well, this is simply to deal more damage, but wait. To get the damage bonus, you need to spend Fury, right? Yep, and that's why you're using Kick. By kicking an enemy in the nutsack, you instantly spend all of your Fury to deal massive damage and also get the full bonus from Wrath of the Berserker. So what's the pro of this build? Well, other than getting increased damage from Wrath of the Berserker, Kick also deals insane single target damage, and Kick also scales with maximum Fury, which means that we can use Ramaladni and stack maximum Fury and get an insane damage bonus to both Kick and our Bash. And all of this makes this build the perfect boss killer. On the other hand, though, it's more difficult to keep up berserking and vulnerable with this build, as both of these comes from Kick. And that's why I'm showing the other version. Okay, so let's see what the Germans have been cooking. The German engineer is instead using Steel Grasp to get berserking and vulnerable, as well as to gather enemies. On top of that, Paingorger's gauntlets are now usable, allowing for a massive bust of AoE damage. He also uses the Rupture skill, which both causes an explosion of hepatitis along with increasing attack speed by 40%, granting the build more consistent damage. It's also a bit less brain-dead than the other version, so you know what I'll be using? Yeah, the other one, obviously. It's also worth mentioning that Bash is a basic skill, and by using a basic skill and a shit ton of attack speed, both of these builds use Hectic to reduce their cooldowns down to 0 again. And that is a mega bonkers. And for next build, I'll be showing Thorns. And for this, we'll be leaving Germany for a sec and instead heading down to China. So what's going on with Thorns, apart from being the most brain-dead fucking build to ever exist? Well, it was kind of alright in previous seasons, but now it's goddamn busted. And this is due to the new crafting system. We're now able to get above 100,000 life with ease, and by combining this with the Outburst skill, we are able to get absolutely bonkers amounts of Thorns. On top of that, we're also able to temper Thorns on our gear. And if you thought I was done yet, I'm not. Even the Razorplate chest got buffed. Oh, and I'm not done yet. By also receiving easier access to cooldown reduction, combined with the hectic aspect and a shit ton of attack speed, we're able to reset our challenging shout with ease. And what does this mean? Yeah, you're goddamn right. A fuckton of extra life for yet more thorns. Yeah, that's goddamn dank as fuck. Hitting for 200 million every time an enemy touches you is also pretty based, not gonna lie. Alright, that's the Barb. Let's check out one of my builds now. Because, gotta get that drip going. And Blizzard has been doing something crazy here. Like absolutely hecking broken crazy. Okay, not that crazy, but still, what the heck, bro? They changed the tempering manuals for Rogue, swapping marksman stats to instead grant vulnerable and crit damage. So what does that mean for the rapid fire build? Well, it means that the build was massively buffed. By stacking a shit ton of crit damage, the rapid fire build turns the additive crit damage stat multiplicative for bonkers amounts of damage. This build was already insanely strong due to the new unique Scoundrel's Kiss, and it's now looking even better. What do you say, guys? Should I go balls deep and level a rogue next, perhaps? Maybe baby. For the other insane build, we have the Heartseeker. Huh, what is that skill even? I don't know, but it's looking pretty damn strong. And this is mainly due to the Victimize key passive receiving massive buffs in Season 4. It's quite possibly also bugged out of its mind, double dipping like crazy, but who gives a shit? So why Heartseeker then? Well, due to the high lucky hit chance, and it being a basic skill, of course, with a lucky hit chance of 50% and a ton of attack speed, Victimize will be proccing like crazy. So look out for this build, guys. Alright, that's the Rogue. Let's take a look at what the cringe emo lord Necro has going for him now. But first, don't forget to like and subscribe, and become a member, of course, and donate all of your money while you're at it, and lick my balls. So, minions, huh? Yeah. And next we have the Druid. Got you there. Let's do some actual big boy thinking. Firstly, minions are just omega busted in Season 4. And my favorite build by far is the big boy Golem Stonker version. Here, we're focusing on buffing our Golem as much as humanly possible. Previously, we were able to stack a shit ton of Golem mastery ranks, but that is no longer the case as we can only get it on our chest piece now. This build is still insane though, and the footage that I'm using was without these ranks as well as using shitty gear. With an actual setup, it was hitting for 6 billion. While it will not stay that insane, it should still be able to hit for a few billions. Which is pretty solid, I might say. So, why is this build so goddamn busted then? Well, it's quite easy, really. It just scales insanely hard. With minions now inheriting 100% of most of our stats, as well as a bunch of legendary nodes and aspects getting buffed, the build scales to the moon. It's also the perfect pit-pushing build, as you can just stand AFK by the edge of the room as your minions does the job for you. If you throw the blighted aspect along with corpse explosions into the mix, you're also able to benefit from the blighted aspect for a whopping 240% damage bonus, which is balanced. And that brings me over into another build. Wait, what? Isn't this just a minion build as well? Oh, my beautiful friend, you're absolutely correct. But there's a slight difference. This one instead focuses on shadow mages. I must say, though, that the scaling of this build is the same as in the Golem version. Both builds are able to use the blighted aspect, with the difference that the latter makes use of it easier. When you have enough greater affixes on your gear, and if you get tired of being a cuck to your minions, then you can ditch the shadow mages and focus on blight completely. This is done by using the Wither glyph, as this glyph scales your shadow damage the more intelligence you have, which is crazy good in the absolute endgame. Stay tuned for that in a month or so when I've gotten the gear and gold required to do this Elmau. Well, goddamn. Enough of the cringe lord. Let's check out the fatty a la Druid. While the rogues got a sneaky, undisclosed buff, with the release of Season 4, the druids instead got a nerf. And this is due to resource cost reduction being absolutely gutted. And what is the biggest problem for the fatties? Yep, resources. The by far strongest build from the PTR looked to be the Tornado Druid, and while this is still the case, it will take you longer to get the required gear to be able to fully blast as a Druid now. But when you do, oh man, does it blast. This build scales insanely hard due to the Thunderstruck legendary node granting an insane 20% multiplicative damage per close and distant enemies whenever you throw out storm skills. And making Tornado into a storm skill is easy as hell just by slapping on a Tempest Roar. And then you're good to go. So yeah, I think we found the next Paragon node getting gutted in the next balance updates. If Barbs are not allowed to have fun with their Blood Rage board anymore, then neither shall Druids Ulmao. And for next build, oh shit, not this guy again. Nah, he's alright. Max roll good. But you're in my way, so here you go. This build is pretty hilarious, actually, as it's a Hurricane build, and if you know Hurricane, you know that it's been dog shit for a year, but that's changed in Season 4, and it's mainly due to tempering. By slapping on Hurricane duration on a two-handed weapon, we can near double its duration, which is cool and all, but check out this aspect. This grants us 36 multiplicative damage per second while on a two-hander, and 36 times all the seconds Hurricane is up should amount to about, yeah, a buttload of big damn. To function, however, the build relies on the snapshotting of both provocation along with clarity to make sure that every Hurricane tick both overpowers and crits. This makes the build a bit clunky, but still sick as fuck when you get going. Okay, so only one class left. Obviously left this for last because Sorcs can suck it. All of the hentai enjoyers can definitely rejoice this season, however, as there's just a massive amounts of strong builds to play, one of them of course being Frozen Orb. With the introduction of Season 4, all Sorc enjoyers can now kill a perverted bat and receive the Fractured Winterglass, making Frozen Orb not dogshit. Now, while I'm probably not going to play Sorc if I were, I'd definitely run this build. And lastly, we have the Blizzard build, and I'm not talking about the titty milk stealing company, I'm talking about the Blizzard skill. This has been a top 3 sorcerer build since pretty much the launch of Diablo 4, and it's still hecking strong. What makes this build beautiful is the fact that you're using Blizzard, but it deals basically 0 damage. Instead, the glacial aspect is what deals the insane amounts of damage, and with flat damage multipliers now working as they should, not being fucking useless. The Blizzard build is so goddamn good. On top of that, Blizzard also freezes everything around you, basically making you invincible as well as being able to shoot out ice shards out of your dick. Well, goddamn, that's all for this guide. Make sure to become a member because ICBA doing actual work.